So in the sense of like just digging a little bit deeper, like you know,
Oh, look at this. I'm moving around.
yeah, like in the sense of the actionable steps, what would be, for example, you was able to recognize that there's these funds that you could invest in and X, Y, and Z. What was your process for applying that to everything else that you've been able to do? Like the actionable steps, was it like, okay, this is what I want to achieve at the end, and
Okay,
then
look, like, how about
backwards?
writing a book?
Yeah, sure.
Shall we talk about writing a
Yeah.
book? So, writing a book, you're going to have some chapters.
Mm,
What are you going to talk about in each chapter? Okay, that's the first thing.
mm,
In fact, actually, we go even before that. I would draw a diagram, a spider diagram.
mm,
So, say I was writing a book on podcasting. I would put podcasting in the middle, and I'd put say chapter. No, I wouldn't say chapter 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to call chapters. I'm not going. I'll just say what do I need to talk about? Okay, equipment. So that'll be a a line off of podcast equipment, and another one would be and off of equipment. I put things like microphones. If I'm going to use YouTube, I'll have lighting.
mm,
Yeah, seating. So that's off of equipment.
mm,
And then off of lighting, I'll have kinds of lights.
mm,
What's good, what's bad. And off of lighting, I'll have positioning,
mm,
yeah, of the lighting.
mm,
And then I'll have good and bad lighting. So this is how I'm constructing the book, right? And then not so there's obviously a lot more on equipment. There's video cameras. There's mixing desks. There's editing software, right? Tons more stuff. So on the other side is subject matter. So what would I do podcasts about, right? Here are all the subjects I'm good at: book writing, investing in property, connecting with people, networking. Yeah, so I'd have all of these, and then I'll have another component:
mm,
guests, right? And then write people I'd like to uh, guests. How do you get them,
mm,
right? Then I'll say, how do you promote the podcast? Because these days people's ego, oh yeah, I was the number one download, or in Michigan, or in the whole of the United States, or in the whole world. I was like,
mm,
so how do I get it out there? How do I promote, and how do I get audience?
mm,
So this is me just creating all the different subjects that I need to write about podcasting.
mm,
Right. Now I've done that. Now I've roughly got the chapters because it's in these, or I might rearrange it and think, lighting, that's under equipment, but lighting is also under making people look great. So which area shall I put it under? Right. So that's now I've got the outline of that book. So we know for non-fiction books, you have to have about 50,000 words. If I decide to write the book in, I don't know, a certain amount of time, if I can write 500 words a day, yeah, so 50,000 divided by 500 is what, 100?
yeah.
Yeah. So if I can write 500 words a day, I can write a book in 100 days.
Mm, yeah.
Some days I'll write more, some days I'll write less, but on average.
Mm,
Do I have the time? Will I have time delay because of research? So I've written all my stuff,
mm,
my understanding of lighting and stuff. Now I need to go and do some research, see how other people do it, see which is the best, experiment with it.
mm,
Yeah. And so then my book would take slightly longer. The fastest I've written a book in is 2.5 months for Microsoft. But I was full-time writing every day. I had all the equipment in front of me to do the research and stuff. Yeah, that was tough.
So you had it at your fingertips, so you was able to.
But it was tough.
Yeah.
There was a lot of research. There was a lot of editing and re-editing and sleepless nights.
I guess a lot of the information wouldn't have been on the internet either, because internet wasn't.
No, there wasn't internet at the time.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, it
Yeah,
was?
that's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Does that help you with understanding how to chunk down little bits?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. I think definitely the way that you've been able to map it out, I think you sort of covered that fully. What strategies do you recommend for staying focused and maintaining momentum throughout the journey of achieving your goals?
Okay, so to stay focused, there's a number of components. The biggest one is someone gives you a pot of money. Yeah, Microsoft offered to give me a pot of money if I finish this book within 3 months. Right? That's a big motivator. Yeah. Another one is to have people with you who will help you be focused. So I suffer really badly from eczema. Yes. And when I was with a partner, at night, because you scratch without knowing, she would remove my hand from scratching, or if she saw me during the day, she won't tell me off. She just gently take my hand and hold it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that there's a goal of not being covered in eczema, and that was a person who helped.
Okay.
Yeah. So having people who can support you will also help you stay focused. Exercise. Remember, we went exercise and finance. Some people use accountability partners. They'll phone you up and so on. But after a while, I think if you don't have internal motivation, accountability partners don't really help. It just makes you feel even more demotivated because you can't say, yes, I did it this week. You know?
Yeah.
But if they did it with you, that's really different. That keeps you focused. So that's something else, or else you'll get distracted. And I found when I was training people to do cold calling in sales, that me going out with them and them getting the habit, that was a massive, and not me just going out with them one day, but I would go out with them for about 2 or 3 months, and then before they're good enough to go on their own. Yeah. So those are 2 components to stay focused. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a pot of money at the end. Have people to do it with you. This is also, by the way, I like to work in teams because it keeps me focused. Like, I don't want to let them down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a third one. Work in teams. You'll make less money. You'll have less fame because you'll share it with the team, but at least you'll get it done.
Yeah.
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 And the third one is having so much internal motivation. Yeah. Like, your daughter's dying of XYZ. You'll be so motivated.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. For example. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll keep you focused every day.
Yeah. 100%. Touching on what you had said about accountability partners and things of that nature, what role does accountability play in goal achievement, and how can individuals create effective accountability systems, if not an individual that's going to keep you accountable?
So accountability systems, I mean, again, that's challenging. First of all, you have to be motivated. One thing we recommend for everyone who is trying to get to a certain amount of wealth is to look at their finances daily. Have a spreadsheet with your expenditure and your income, right? Yeah, have a look at it daily. That's a great system. It's just a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then adjust it as you need. This is really, really important, guys, for financial goals. And remember, we talked about the most common goal framework: specific, measurable, That's the measurable bit.
Yeah.
That you're measuring where you are at any stage of the time. When you start a new investment, you add it to your spreadsheet. When you decide to take a new course expenditure, that would affect your spreadsheet. Yeah.
100%. Is there sort of like, points where you almost have to be like, you know what, not be too hard on yourself, but at the same time be hard? Like, where's that balance in the sense of just say that you didn't.
So I don't think there is a balance. It's how fast you want to get somewhere. Yeah. So if it's someone's health, you want to get there fast. There's no balance. When I was writing the book for Microsoft, there was no balance for 2.5 months. It was right. There wasn't going out playing. There wasn't going out to restaurants. There wasn't going out to friends. I needed to get that book done.
Okay.
Yeah. Zero balance. Yeah. If it's a close relative who's very ill, you're going to be on the doctors. You're going to be researching doctors. You're going to be researching their condition. You're going to be looking at all the cures for it. You're going to be looking at why some worked, why they failed. You're going to look at the situation. There won't be any balance. Yeah. So again, that's situational. If it's to grow your wealth to a certain amount by the age of 35 or 45 or 50, you've got a bit more time to think about different ways to do it, to grow your wealth. And over time, there's going to be more and more ways. Some are really risky, like crypto, super risky. Yeah. Some are going to be more achievable, but just needs your constant energy until that aspect is flying. Like some of the Amazon products. Yeah. It's going to take a lot of energy for 2, 3, 4 years maybe till you find, or you might get lucky, find a product that works straight away and you can make money straight away. But even those have a lifetime, so you're going to have to find new products before everyone else starts doing what you're doing.
100%. How do you deal with setbacks and failures on the path to achieving a goal? And what advice do you give to those facing challenges?
Setbacks and failures are probably parts of you achieving that goal and finding out what doesn't work. And this is where timeliness also falls down, because a setback will lose you time. And you just have to accept that it's part of getting there. It's part of you developing great habits. It's part of you understanding your journey is really the experience and the failures that you've gone through. Like it's really difficult for me to have partners today because I'm so aware of all the different people who've messed me up. So I'm looking for really specific people now. Yeah. We often say it's easier to make money than find good people. And by good people, we don't mean nice people. We mean people who get things in your business industry and they've got good values and no addictions. That's big. So there are those three. Yeah. And those three components are very, very important.
Yeah. Any vice can actually ruin things. Some are more obvious than others.
They are.
No, I totally agree with that.
By the way, trying to please everyone is an addiction. Yeah, and you just can't have someone like that in your business. It'll cost you money. It'll cost you a lot of setbacks. So people pleaser is not going to work. They won't know when to walk away, and when people are abusing their good nature.
Yeah, that is a big one.
Yes, that is a big one. Come on, let's do a short on that.
no, it's a big one because I think a lot of us sort of, I don't know, just talking from my own experience, I think I started off as a people pleaser.
We all do. We all want to add value to people. We all want to be kind to people.
Yeah.
It's just there are some horrible people out there. Or actually, they're not horrible. They just had so much trauma. They just don't understand.
Yeah. But then you have to, it's not only self-preservation, but you almost have to be like, you're doing it for the best of your company and everyone around you that relies on you. So therefore, this is the best way to go.
Yeah.
And then you move away from being a people pleaser to being like pragmatic.
Yeah.
When did you get to that point in your journey?
I think it's been up and down with my journey. Yeah, because I like helping people. I want to see people do better than me. I want to see people flying around the world and having the happiness that they want, the contentment in their lives. So it's been a hard one. My easiest solution is to surround myself with people who are hard people and let them deal with that side of things. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I used to teach my daughter this when we were in business. Don't make a decision. Just say, I need to speak with my business partner. And then talk it out with your business partner. That's another really lovely way to do it. Some people's egos can't take it. And sometimes people will say, oh, you can't make the decision on your own. You know? I don't know whether you call that gaslighting or manipulating. You just have to be really firm. My business partner and I, we trust each other, we trust each other. No decision of this level goes through without going through them. Would you like to continue doing business with us? Yes or no? Yes. Well then, understand how we do business. If not, then that's fine also. We can just go for a drink and share each other's success and failures.
What you're saying there is very pertinent because that is gaslighting and it's a manipulative sales tactic in order to be like, oh, well, you can't make a decision.
Yeah.
You should make a decision now.
Yeah.
Or they put an essence of urgency in it.
Yes.
And it's a very, very manipulative sales tactic, which is, each to their own. I'm not here to judge, as you don't judge anybody, but it's very, like you said, you have to move in a way which makes sense, and that advice to your daughters, would have helped her immensely in those scenarios. But yeah, it's just interesting. Are there specific habits or common routines that successful goal achievers commonly incorporate into their daily lives?
Yes.
Like
they do one thing every day to achieve their goal. So they're very focused like that. They don't spend more than they can afford. It sounds really simple, that spend less than you make. It really sounds really simple. But so many people are used to the credit society. Really? And the salespeople, but you can have this beautiful car now. Now, you can have it now. And look, if we look at the payments that you pay, it's so little, compared to your income. Why wouldn't you want it now? Right? People who achieve their goals don't get seduced by that kind of... Debt is debt, right? And you can use debt to make money, but ultimately you want to get rid of... Most people want to get rid of debt. Yeah. People who are very good with debt, and there's very few people with it, who are very good with debt. The majority of people listening to this podcast, I'd say you aren't. So don't play with it. It's like you're not a Jeff Bezos, who Amazon was in massive debt, we've spoken many times before, and he was able to leverage that and then eventually pay everything back. But not everyone is like that. Most of us, we just want to have a nice life, right? We don't need to be multi-billionaires, trillionaires to have that life, right? And we want to add value to people, and we want to help people. So you don't need to be really good with debt. Try to stay out of it.
100%. Do you feel like there's levels to this? Because I feel like regarding managing debt, it's good rule of thumb to be like what you're saying, try to avoid it, try to, spend less than what you make and all of that. But there are levels where once you get to a higher echelon, then the debt game can be very viable.
You need to be really good at playing the debt game.
But there's levels.
So let me give you an example, because I'm in property. There's a friend of mine. He has nearly 100 properties. He's so highly leveraged. At the moment, he's hurting badly. The interest rate has gone up, from 1% to 4-5%. It's really so. In the days, for decades, everyone he's so cool, he's doing this, he's doing that. They wouldn't want to be in his shoes right now. It's not a good game to play. It's a bit like crypto. Right? Now, if he has a lot of unencumbered properties as well as the debt, so he can, when the bad times come, and they always come, then he can manage it. But he didn't. So I'm just saying, America, England, we thought as countries we could handle debt. But really, if we had to pay the trillions back, we're in massive trouble. And this is why, all the conspiracy theorists keep saying there's going to be a big reset soon. COVID's a big reset. That's a big reset. Because that debt is causing problems.
Yeah, definitely. But I think regarding that, it's a bit more different. It's similar to what you're saying. There is issues there, but I think they go on the basis that it would never be recalled. Like, okay, you're doing this debt, but you can just keep on having the whole.
That's what people think.
So, yeah, because the after effect, if it did come to a point where it was recalled, what would happen to the world? There'd be like a meltdown almost because there's so many countries that rely on each other.
Yeah.
So it's like a domino effect. So it's almost like there's never a point.
Well, then do you keep going into more and more credit because it'll never happen?
I think that's what's happening now.
Yeah, I'm just saying. And look, we did 30 days of debt management ages ago, a while back, right? Yeah. And I was dealing with several people at the time, who couldn't handle the debt. Yeah, everyone was coming after them. They couldn't get any more credit, and you really don't want to be there. There's people. I've been listening to quite a few podcasts recently, and one of the guys was saying one of his friends committed suicide. He was in property, but he was so highly leveraged that when all the interest rates have happened, nobody would buy the properties. He couldn't get out of the debt.
What was it, Skinner?
I don't know who it was.
There's a guy called Skinner.
Yeah.
He was like a very famous tycoon. But yeah, in the UK.
So you don't want to play the debt game, if possible.
Yeah. No, 100%. Moving on from that, how do you balance setting ambitious goals with maintaining a healthy work-life balance?
very badly. Look at Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Yeah. People don't even know. I don't know how well he sleeps at night. It's really, really difficult. The only way you can ever have any kind of balance is to have people you love so much that if you don't have balance, you're going to let them down. So you need to think about your health. You need to think about your emotions. Otherwise, you'll push them away. Yeah. But it's... I mean, we talked about addictions before. Goals can be an addiction. I was addicted to goals at one stage. I'd hit all these goals and then, I need to set new ones. Right? I never just had a time of just arriving. So, yeah, even ambition can be an addiction. And there's a lot of very famous people that we loved and revered, but I don't know whether they had maintained a work-life balance. Yeah. I think this whole concept of work-life balance, I'm going to be a bit controversial now, is for the current generation who've seen what the traumas of the previous generations have caused.
Do you think part of what the new generation's been fed is almost like, okay, you can have it all mentality, where in reality you can't really have it all?
I don't believe this generation's like that. I think there's many of them are into delayed gratification. They save, they think about their finances, they think about their future finances, because they can't afford that much today. Yeah. So I think actually that the current generation has got a better understanding than any other generation of work-life balance.
Not fair.
And plus we've got so much more education these days that is freely available on the internet. The compound effect, for example, freely available. The only things that we can add in podcasts such as this is sharing our secret sources, like how to hit several goals at the same time, which isn't talked about on the internet, and sharing about delayed gratification for generations that are not used to it. When they were sold, you deserve this, you deserve a lot of money. Nobody deserves anything. You work for it. Yeah. People are understanding now that okay, if I put you into these really expensive schools, right, then I'm going to be in a huge amount of debt. So I'm not going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to get you for my kids. I'm going to pay for them for schools I can afford. And I don't want them to go through having massive debt. Today you can have a great life without, having loads of degrees.
Yeah.
Perhaps not, in the 60s when a degree gave you a good job. But today, it's hard even if you've got a degree to get a good job. That's why so many people have these side hustles, which we talk about a lot on our, on our Instagram.
100%.
100%.
In your opinion, what is the significance of setting both professional and personal goals for a well-rounded life?
Having professional and personal goals. I think your professional goals should be your personal goals as well. If you mean like developing yourself personally, then that should impact your professional world. So I think this concept of dividing professional and personal, is unhelpful. I think having professional goals for your career and in your job should be part of your personal life and developing your personal brand. And I think today more than ever, it's your personal brand that matters. So if you're doing a job and you can't do it, that impacts your personal brand. So learn skills to do that job better and get mentors, get get people who'll support you and work you through delivering for whatever that job needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
And don't be deluded. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't ever be deluded.
Well, I mean, you know, this whole delusion was created by the concept of fake it until you make it. It made so many people delusional about what they could do. I'm just going to fake it till I make it. Now, there's calculated risks,
Yeah.
right, which is slightly different. So I took on jobs which probably I was not qualified to do, but I did them, and I did them well and better than other people. And so, for example, I took on a job managing a computer system, but the computer system wasn't using Microsoft DOS. It was using CP/M. It was a accountancy system.
Yeah.
But I was used to DOS. I was used to an operating system, and all I needed to know was the equivalent language in CP/M for some of the stuff I was doing in DOS, which I was very quickly able to learn. So that some people would say, well, you faked it till you made it, but no, I took a calculated risk. I thought I could translate over, which I did very well. And we when I did the job, it was on a 3-month trial, and the guy then offered me the job, and I thought, no, I don't want to do this job, but I will find someone who understands CP/M and employ them for you, which is what we agreed to do. And when I left, the guy said, but you understand it better than the guy who really knew CP/M.
Yeah.
I just knew how to do things in terms of thinking in the box and out of the box and getting rid of the box. That was the major benefit of having me there, rather than just working with the way CP/M works.
No, that's definitely.
So I don't know whether that helps answer the question.
Well, just to go back to it, the both personal and professional and a well-rounded life. I think, like I said before, everyone wants to have, okay, you can do it all, or you could have it all, type of thing.
Yeah, you can do it
But-
all, and you can have it all.
But don't you feel like you get more like a value from having just a specific goal, and then everything else can.
You can
sort of-
have it all just one at a time.
That's my point. Yeah.
Just one at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
But you trying to have it all now? I don't even know if people are even capable of having it all now. We have kids who've not trained in finance, who've had it all, and they've ended up as drug addicts, or they've attracted friends who were just not good friends, and they went from having it all to being totally broke. Yeah. This is why I'm saying, if you're a lottery winner, if you inherit a lot of money, whatever it is, get a course in finance. The first thing you must do, if you're not used to it, get a course in finance and investing. Get rid of all your friends. Yeah. And just find some, in fact, just find some funds that you can invest in. And in fact, like if you've won millions in the lottery, take half of that, invest it in funds, and the other half go and blow it on your Ferraris and whatever it is. Yeah.
100%.
Or if you inherit a lot of money, again, do the same. And don't ever touch your investment fund, ever,
Yes.
because you would not have had all that money anyway.
100%. 100%. People always want to touch, thinking, yeah, I'm only going to take a bit, and it leads them down to.
It's a habit.
Yeah.
Just a bit more.
Can't do that. Okay. How can individuals identify and overcome limiting beliefs that may hinder their progress towards achieving their dreams?
So how can individuals deal with their limiting beliefs that are hindering them from? Well, number one, they have to understand that they have a limiting belief. If they don't understand, you can't help them. It's a bit like trying to help an alcoholic who doesn't believe they've got a drink problem. Yeah, it's not going to help. They'll give you millions of excuses. Yeah, same with alcoholics, or they'll start getting angry with you. When I was teaching, I had a famous slide, because those were the days with acetates when I was teaching, and the slide says, "Never teach a pig to sing." Yes, because what is it? Because it upsets the pig, and you end up with, I don't know, something all over your face.
Okay.
I can't remember the exact. It's a bit like never teach a crocodile to never floss
a crocodile,
because you have your arm bitten off.
Yeah.
So you just can't teach people who don't recognize they have a limiting belief. Yeah, you can't help them. Don't try. It'll hurt you, and you'll lose a friend.
What about overcoming your own limiting beliefs?
You still have to recognize them.
You have to recognize them.
You have to recognize you have a limiting belief.
And how would you?
So like, I don't know whether I've got a limiting belief here or not. This is serious. You know, let's be a little bit vulnerable here.
Yeah.
There's people who believe that if you can envision it and believe in the law of attraction, then you can have everything. And I just believe in hard work, a plan, and stuff. But I don't know whether I've got a limiting belief. Maybe I don't need all that stress, and if I could just imagine and believe, then maybe it would work out, and I wouldn't even need goals. I would just imagine it. It's just going to happen. It's going to happen in 2 weeks. You know, I really believe it's going to happen in 2 weeks.
Digging into that.
Just saying.
No, but it's good that you touched upon it, because people definitely tie in goal setting with the law of attraction and things of that nature, because, you know, the law of attraction initially is, you know, okay, you have this belief, you want these different things in your life, therefore, you know, you have to go through maybe affirmations, visualization, all that different type of stuff in order to help you bring these things in via a frequency that you may put out in the world. Only thing with that I always say is that it may help with resilience and focus and motivation to a certain degree, because when you have a belief, sometimes when you're going through certain struggles, you sort of power through them, but it actually being drawn in by this esoteric energy is where it loses me a bit, which is probably what you're...
But maybe you and I have a limiting belief here.
Yeah.
What if you really believed 100%? Okay, look, let's be really even more metaphysical. Yeah. Let's get spiritual. If people don't believe in Christ, do they have a limiting belief? Right, so I don't know. I really don't know what is a limiting belief in myself. And if I don't know what's a limiting belief in myself, how can I expect other people who I feel they've got limiting beliefs, how can I expect them to not believe that anymore? Now, I can tell you what I've done with people who I felt, you know, have a belief system that I don't agree with. I've taken them out with me. And I've gone and done the crazy things that I do in front of them, and suddenly light bulbs go on in their head. So I've actually demonstrated it physically. So we talk about social magnetism.
Yeah.
a little bit. And if someone has the goal of being more socially magnetic, and I tell them, you can take over and be friends with everyone in a pub, they'll say, that's impossible. That's a limiting belief. But when I show them and demonstrate what I do, it's, oh, wow, that's so cool. Yeah. And so that's the only way that I can help you. But I have to trick them into coming out with me. Like some people, no, you're too crazy to go out with, Ben. I never know what's going to happen next.
No, it's definitely interesting going out with you. And it's like you said, the social magnetism, you've been able to demonstrate that. There's few times that I've been in your presence at different venues, even down to something very a low pressure, low type of expectation, such as a restaurant or a cafe. You show and still demonstrate that social magnetism. Is there any overlap with social magnetism and goal setting that you feel can be applied?
In goal setting?
Yeah, like
how... social magnetism helps with goal setting a lot. Because when you're setting like these big ambitious goals, you need people to help you achieve them. And if you can't attract people in your life, or because you don't add value to them, there's no reason why they would engage with you or want to engage with you. So social magnetisms are really a huge part in goal setting. One of those components. The bigger the goal, the more social magnetism you need. Yeah, there's only so much you can do online for achieving your finances. You're somewhere along the way. Like if you've got an Amazon side hustle, for example, you're going to have to email, you're going to have to WhatsApp or WeChat with suppliers and customers. And if you haven't developed communication, which is what social magnetism is all about, then it's not going to work. You're going to have people put you on the bottom list in terms of priority. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, we're out of stock, and they've given their limited stock to someone they feel has made them feel good. There's like where I currently live. Yeah, there's 3 places that give me free stuff. Right? Just because because the people in those places like me. Right? They're restaurants and grocery stores. I'll give you. That's why I don't try to accept it, and it's quite embarrassing sometimes. In one of the places, I deliberately don't go there because I know they're going to give me loads of free stuff.
Can you give me an example where, other than those examples, but where you had a specific goal and because of your social magnetism, it's helped you achieve those particular goals?
Oh, look, just indirectly, if you go to a place where the people like you and they're just giving you free stuff, and you take a customer there, do you think the customer, if your goal is to acquire new clients, is going to think, wow, yeah, even the staff like this guy? Does that not help you become like, okay, he seems like a reliable, trustworthy, loyal person for staff of the places he's going to, comes up to talk to him, ask how he is, and gives him stuff. You know, that's just a very indirect way. Directly, there's a guy, he never used to do business with me, but I found out he played chess. Yeah. So we used to play chess, 1 move a day. And over time, he placed all his business with me. But I wasn't, I was just playing chess. There's another person I found, his kids suffer from eczema, and they also collected stamps. So, like, I just sent all my stamps, his way. Yeah. And then after a while, he started placing a lot of business. I never asked for it. I mean, he knows what I do, so I don't need to talk about business. It was just, hey, how are you, blah, 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 great. Hey, listen, I found, blah, 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 and didn't talk about business. That's social magnetism in action. You have seen my TED talk on cowardice and courage. And part of me developing courage was me doing extreme reading. Right. I wasn't ever horrible with my extreme reading. Yeah, I didn't do stuff to annoy people, but out of that, I was offered jobs by the people who were filming me, right? So, and by one people who watched them wanted me to come and read aloud in his hairdresser, and he would pay me for it. So I guess those are some of the the different things that have helped me.
Yeah, 100%. What advice do you have for individuals who feel overwhelmed or discouraged while working towards their goals?
Sorry, before I answer that question, just one other thing, to answer your other previous question. So at the moment, I'm working as an actor, just to see if I can do it. Yeah. And using the concept of social magnetism, I've been offered several roles as a result of social magnetism. And that's purely adding value to people in that industry in some way, either because they don't know how to do finances or by introducing them to other people in that industry who can help them, because I don't have those skills.
You know, digging in a little bit into, you know, that not only that industry, but how you're getting into film in the sense of the back end of things as well. You seem to be meeting a lot of people, because obviously there's an overlap with me and you with that. Do you think that you would have had the progress on these different things that's happening if you didn't have social magnetism?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, I'm working with a lot of actors who don't have social magnetism. I've taken them to events and I've told them what to do. Either they've not turned up, so they've missed out. Yeah. One wanted an internship at Pinewood Studios and would have introduced them to a film director there who was looking for someone to do internship. So they don't understand it. They don't believe that you can, because they're probably used to the old style of networking where people would used to go with their CVs or whatever and sell to people or try to get jobs, right? It's not a job fair, it's a networking event. It's not a sales meetup, it's a networking event. So, you know, add value to people.
I keep on saying 100%, but it's definitely something to take on board. What advice do you have for individuals who feel overwhelmed or discouraged while working towards their goals?
Advice to people who are feeling discouraged and overwhelmed when working towards their goals. I wouldn't have any advice. I'd find out why they're discouraged and overwhelmed. Normally, if they're feeling overwhelmed, they're probably doing too much or they're overthinking stuff. Yeah. Rather than chunking everything down into small, or they wanted to go too fast. So they haven't chunked everything down into small components and do all those little components. And then very soon after doing all those components, they've reached their goal. That's normally what causes overwhelm. Discouraged. Discouragement normally comes because they haven't hit it as fast. And this is where delayed gratification and patience is something that they need to learn. Or they're discouraged because it hasn't worked. And they just need to understand the 1,000 light bulb story with Edison, or 795 light bulbs. Anyway, I won't debate that, but basically where someone said, look, you're the laughing stock of the scientific world. Why don't you stop trying to develop the incandescent light, which is essentially the light bulb, And he said, well, I don't have 1,000 failures. I've just found 1,000 ways I can't do it. So he never got discouraged. He just thought this is part of his learning experience. And he has to reset his timelines.
That's powerful. Can you share your own personal journey of you setting and achieving significant goals, highlighting key lessons that you learned along the way?
So can you say that again?
Yeah, so can you share your personal
Can I share my personal
journey?
journey
Okay, let me start from again.
for significant goals? So you want the steps I took to get to those goals?
Yeah, so can you share your personal journey of setting and achieving significant goals, highlighting key lessons learned along the way?
So I only have really one significant goal in my life, and that was to become financially free. Yeah. There's a few other significant goals that I now have today. Yeah, but financially free, I did lots of research on finance, which was a bit difficult in my day because we didn't have the internet. Right, so I was talking with a lot of people. That's a major step. And then I took action. I took baby steps. You know, in putting money into high interest accounts, and then looking at funds and investing in funds. Then like thinking about writing and how writing can help with a passive income stream. Trying stuff that I failed at, you know, like network marketing. Yeah, can't do that. I don't have intellectual property at the time, so couldn't do that. It was like developing a skill to create lots of active income to get me to create investment income. And that unique skill originally was creating print drivers for word processing software for Hewlett-Packard printers, and that started to lead me on a journey of getting certification in Microsoft products, and that led me onto a journey of you know, looking after people's systems and being invited to be directors on several companies, which led me on to creating multiple, being a director of multiple companies and getting multiple income streams, which led me on to, so there was that vision of where I wanted to be, the research, and then working hard to develop a skill. And that skill helped me develop more skills.
Okay.
Like, for example, when you set up your business, what did you know compared to what you know today?
Night and day.
It's very different.
Indeed.
You have so much more skills, which will make you more income. You have a better understanding of people. You have a better understanding of the world of because I don't know, we've had these discussions before, and I don't want to keep going back there, but I feel that today and it's only like 3 or 4 years ago, but you're still so different. You've learned so much about the craft of running your business.
Indeed.
Yeah. And what works and what doesn't work. Yeah, you've got scars. If I was to reverse this podcast and ask you about your journey and ask you the scars, I'm sure you can say, "Oh my goodness, Ben, and this only happened, and I only lost because of this and this and this." But as a result of that, you're just leaps ahead of other people.
I feel a big part of that is you know, people being my secret mentors. Is
Yeah, you know, you just you just get mentorship for free. We've had this discussion already. There was no secret with me. I knew what you were doing.
okay.
I said it to you. And does Deepak know what you do?
Yeah.
Has he mentioned it to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Every
Yeah.
person.
Right. Okay. There you go.
But I think it's almost impossible to be around someone like yourself, Deepak, as well, like, and not pick up things while you're talking, because you, without even thinking about it, you're given so many lessons without even knowing.
Because it's part of our
It's
character now.
of
It's
DNA.
ingrained in us. Yes.
100%. To go into something, because like,
Does that Akin Fenway know?
well, yeah, he does. He does. Yeah.
Because I remember you saying, yeah, Akin Fenway's told me about hospitality too.
Yeah. I think, yeah. Well, that's a private joke for anyone that doesn't know, but it's, but yeah, in a sense of, you mentioned financial freedom. How would you define financial freedom? Because even though, yes,
it's financial freedom is the ability to do what you want, when you want, as long as you want. Yeah. And I'm going to give you a caveat, within reason. So, what you want isn't have your own super yacht, have your own 250 million super yacht. That's not what you want. But it does give you the ability to, if you don't want to work for 6 months to go travel the world, you can go and travel the world. That's what it gives you. All right. You don't ever want never to work. Yeah. Or not in the traditional sense. You want to be adding value to people for the rest of your life. And part of adding value is doing work. Yeah. This is my concept of work. My concept of work isn't going and working for someone. It's finding areas you can add value to people and get paid for it. Yeah. That's my concept. Right. So that to me is financial freedom. And I don't think many people want to have a super yacht. Just think of the maintenance bills. Just think about the amount of false friends you'll have. Yeah, sure, for the ego it looks great and for the initial fame, but you don't want to deal with the rest. Yeah, you just don't. Just go and rent a super yacht for a few days. Just enjoy it. Yeah, if you must do that.
But dig into that a little bit. You know, there is those elements where, okay, financial freedom is this in the eyes of some. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he says is when you're able to replace your working income, active income, with, you know, quote unquote passive income or from your assets.
Yeah.
You know, would you agree with that, or would you say?
So remember I said its ability to choose not to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. For X amount of time.
Yeah.
If that's what you really want. So assets would be an aspect of that. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's the be all and end all. Yeah. Just that you don't need to depend on a job for your income. Right. So yeah, you might just have massive amount of savings for all I know in a high interest account. Yeah, and no assets.
Is it important whenever setting goals, like professional goals, that you always set personal goals as well? Otherwise, there will be that conflict.
I don't know. Give me an example of a professional goal.
So, okay, just say I work for a Fortune 500 company.
KPMG.
Yeah, just KPMG, and I want to become like high up in the company, to a higher position.
In what area?
Just say cybersecurity.
Okay,
Yeah,
you want
I
to
want to be the
climb the corporate ladder of cybersecurity in KPMG.
cybersecurity in
Okay.
KPMG. Just say
Yeah.
that's my goal.
Yeah.
Like to be the head of
Yeah.
cybersecurity.
Do you like cybersecurity?
No, not particularly, but it's,
Don't do it.
Yeah, but
Get out. Go and do something you like doing.
no, but I want
I'm letting you know what I think.
but I'm gonna land. I'm not involved in that, as you know. But
Okay,
but
pretend if you
pretend,
were in,
okay.
because like I've had a cybersecurity business.
Yeah.
The people in cybersecurity love it. They just love it. They wouldn't even think about actually wanting to be management because it would take them off dealing with the tech stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's an aside.
Yeah, let's say that okay, that person did like it or did
Yeah.
enjoy it, and they want to become the head of KPMG,
Yeah.
cybersecurity. However, they would have to move to another location. Yes, that's gonna erupt or actually not fall in alignment with their personal life because number one, maybe they have a partner that doesn't want to move. They've got family in this country and they don't want to move to another country and set up shop there. So is it important to also, okay, you want those different career goals in the sense of being the head of KPMG, but if it doesn't fall in alignment with your personal, which would be, building a family and, seeing loved ones on a regular occasion and X, Y, and Z, there's a conflict right there instantly. How do you sort of combat that? Like, because it's one thing having personal goals.
Okay, so being the head of cybersecurity at KPMG, I would say is a personal goal rather than a professional goal.
Explain.
Why do you want to be the head of cybersecurity at KPMG?
You'll say that I'm really good at it.
Okay, but you can earn a lot of money just being contracting in your location. You don't have to go to another location. So if you want a lot more money, why don't we just look at that?
But you'll say that there was a way of, if you're working at KPMG, you would make more money. Just say hypothetically.
But how much more money
Just say that it's about like 20% more.
than your current income from a job? Because so here's my take on this. First of all, I think it's a personal goal. And you've already said to make more money. Making more money is a personal goal. It's not a professional goal.
You'll say that yeah, but no, but I'm trying to get specific.
I know, but that's why I'm saying it doesn't make a difference to me, a professional or personal goal. This is why I'm saying, yeah, that it's just, to me, it's the same thing. I don't think you can say I've got a professional goal and a personal goal. You could say, oh, okay, I want to learn to get on better with my colleagues professionally. Maybe that's a professional goal. But by learning social magnetism, it should be a personal goal anyway, because it'll help you. Learning that skill won't just help you get on better with your colleagues, but your relatives and people around you. And you'll attract more people who want to be around you. Yeah. And so then I'm going to come back and say, well, was that a professional or a personal goal? Maybe you originally thought it was professional, but it impacts your personal. Just say, like, my personal goal of being a good dancer, right? Is that professional? Well, as a result of being a good dancer, it's helped increase my creativity brain and to think through problems professionally. As a result of being a good dancer, when I'm doing public speaking, it's helped me to be more entertaining and interesting and engaging. So was that a professional or a personal goal? We can label things, but what I'm saying is they impact each other.
Yeah.
By having a professional goal of wanting to be the top Microsoft engineer, was that a professional or personal goal? It sounds professional.
Is it?
But as a result of that, it brought me a lot more income in terms of my personal goal to be financially free. So the lines are very blurred. I'm sure someone who loves looking at these things will say, actually, Ben, a professional goal is this, but for me, it's very difficult to separate the two from your life. any professional goal has to be a personal goal because it's about you and what you want to do. I'm really trying to help here. I'm not trying to be like give you a curveball or anything. Yeah, I'm just showing you how my mind thinks.
Yeah, I think you're approaching it in very not pragmatic but very solution orientated. Like, because obviously I kept them batting back.
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
This and this, but you found solution within it. So
Well,
it's almost
I tell you what, it's
changing the label changes the
it's
psychology.
not it's not even changing the label. It's based on something that I learned from Brian Tracy, who set up the whole kind of coaching and business coaching world. You know, back in the days when cassettes were the thing, and he always said, you only ever work for one person in your life, yourself. Now, you could have a business, and so you're working for yourself. But he said, if you go and you work for one company, you are still working for yourself. You still must look professional. You still must have a brand. And the reason why you're working for one person is because you don't want to deal with accountants. You don't want to deal with healthcare. You just want to have one customer who's a good customer. You never have to chase them for money. They pay regularly for the work that you do to them, for them, right? And he said, you must always think that like that. You must never think that you work for anybody. So that's where this concept that is coming from, that, like, do I separate professional and personal goals? Because even if I work for a company, I don't think I'm working for them. I still think I'm working for myself, and they're my customer, and I'm just choosing to have one customer at this time because they're a very good customer. And if I don't like them, I'm going to find a different customer. Just here it is. Who's going to appreciate the value I give to them more than the current one. And by appreciation, I don't just mean a financial increase. I meant just by the amount of feedback I get and the way I get on in that environment. Oh, that's deep. That's so deep. And I would love to say it was my thought process, but it isn't. It's based on a concept I learned from Brian Tracy decades ago.
Let me ask you, because you mentioned Brian Tracy. Is there any, like, if you could name your top three?
Brian Tracy, Wayne Dyer, indirectly Jesus Christ through the Bible, because that book is amazing. But if not, probably Norman Vincent Peale. So Norman Vincent Peale wrote a book called, I think it was The Art of Positivity. But there was so much in there about reality. He just called it positivity. Yeah. And, you know, I get depressed. I don't believe in what is it? Something positivity.
Positive thinking.
No. Toxic positivity. I don't believe in toxic positivity. You know, if your parents dying, they're dying.
Yeah.
Stop trying to be positive and, oh no, it's good for them. You know, like, you're sad, right? But I do believe in reframing certain things. I think Norman Vincent Peale wrote the book, The Art of Positive Thinking. And I do believe in hope. Sometimes I can be very cynical about some stuff, but in general, I like to believe in people, and hopefully they'll do well.
So it's almost like,
and I'm not going to give them rope to hang themselves. And if they want to hang themselves, that's up to them.
I guess it's like a balance between, you know, okay, this is it in reality, but at the same time, I'm not going to be too negative or pessimist. I'm going to sort of balance it out. So therefore, which is reality, really, if you look at it, nothing is too as bad as that or as good as that. Sometimes it's somewhere in the middle, isn't it?
It's always somewhere in the middle. It's and this comes back to goal setting again. If you can take feedback and improve that middle by 1% from every single feedback you get. Yeah. Then over time, from the compound effect, you just become this naturally a superstar without having to get out of your comfort zone, without having to feel the pain and do it anyway kind of thinking. Yeah. Just take the feedback, improve 1%. And if the feedback was incorrect, just say, that's it. Yeah, I don't need to take it.
Let me ask you, in the sense of, the feedback, X, Y, and Z, what is the importance of possibly, you'll say that you're starting out and you're back in your 20s, you had a time machine, went back.
Another time machine. We had a time machine last time.
I know, but
I'm back in my 20s.
Yeah, you're back in your 20s. What importance do you put on mentors in the sense of achieving your goals? Like, is it important to have a mentor, or how much importance do you hang your hat on regarding that?
I think the important thing is to learn. And if your mentor teaches you stuff that you can learn from the mentor, then that's amazing. And if you don't have a mentor, then let YouTube be your mentor. Let the internet be your mentor. So that's the most important thing. It's easier to have somebody who's got your back, and because they'll be able to see things that you're doing, and can improve on straight away. And if they're really good in mentor, they'll tell you why. See, a lot of mentors just tell you, like, just do it this way. But they don't tell you why. Yeah. So I think that's great if you have one, and if you don't, then let YouTube and the internet be your mentor.
100%, I agree with that. Is there any final
thoughts? I'm glad you agree with that. Oh my goodness, what would I do if you disagree?
Cut the whole podcast right now.
Oh, maybe that's just you not being able to see stuff if you disagreed.
Maybe.
What did we call that before? Is that? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's not
limiting belief. Yeah, that's it. Limiting belief.
100%. Let me ask you. Let's have some final.
I know you and I don't drink that much these days, but one day we should go to a pub, and I'll show you how to take over. We'll take the busiest pub around. I'll show you how to do it.
There's a few down here, actually.
Yeah, well, one day we'll do it.
Especially on the weekend.
We'd have to have a pint. Get a fake pint.
Yeah. Well, mine non-alcoholic.
All right, whatever.
No, but I wanted to add, like, what's your final thoughts on goal setting and, just this whole subject matter, if you have any?
I have a lot of thoughts on goal setting.
Yeah.
One, it doesn't bring you happiness. Yeah. But there are components that will give you happiness of goal setting, like a purpose. 2, do what I call honest goal setting. Don't get involved in goal setting to do with the ego and other people's competitions, including the corporate ones, because research has shown that people using the compound effect do better than people who are just interested in short-term returns on investment. But if they go for an overall longer term, they'll do very well. So join a company if you like working for having just one customer. If you like that, then find a company that appreciates you working like that. 3, have time to enjoy when you've reached goals. And 4, you don't need to have goals all the time.
You mentioned a few times the compound effect. Can you just explain that for the listeners that don't know exactly what that concept is?
Okay, so the concept effect is how you can be awesome over time, or really horrible over time. So if you're negative a little bit today, and tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, and you keep being just a little bit negative, that overall, in a year's time, you won't just be a little bit negative. You'll be this much negative. In other words, twice as much. And then 2 years later, you'll be 4 times as much negative per day. That's you compounding a negative personality. If you're being positive, just a little bit, and I'm talking about your life, not talking about the world or anything, just your life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then a year later, you'll be twice as positive about your life until you get to a stage 10, 15, 20 years where you're leading an abundant life because of your real positivity, not toxic positivity. You'll be attracting so many great people in your life who'll be helping you achieve what you want, which is essentially your goal and your goals, and who want to help you get there.
Indeed.
Yeah. So that's the compound effect working in terms of personality. If you invest in a mutual fund, if you're 20, and you put $50, £50, whatever, a month, well, you're not going to be a millionaire tomorrow, next week, next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5. But by the time you hit maybe 35, 40, I haven't done the calculation, you will be a millionaire. That is the compound effect. For very little money. And it's because of the interest, which will go up and down, that you receive on those funds, which are increasing constantly. And then you get interest on the interest and interest on the interest over those decades. That's the compound effect.
So ultimately, there's an overlap with the compound effect being in action regarding your goals.
It's a component of some goals.
Yeah.
It's not an effect of, like my goal is to make lunch today. Yeah. There's no compound effect involved there. Yeah. But it's a impact for your long-term goals. That's where the compound effect will play.
How important, or how much importance do you put on, like daily little habits, and being able to recognize that, okay, some of the habits that you have can directly affect your short, medium,
yeah,
long-term
yeah.
goals?
Very, very important. Those small habits, and so hard. Really, really, but very, very important. If we were all AI robots, we'd all be super amazing people. But maybe it's in the imperfection that we can't get those small habits correct. Maybe it's in that imperfection that there is a certain amount of perfection. Like, if I could get all my little habits correct, I'd be killing it. Yeah. But maybe as a result of me not getting all my little habits correct, it causes me to engage a lot more creativity to make things happen. I don't know. It's a thought, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a hard one. I think it's only ones that are going to be detrimental to your goals that you really have to, have some self-reflection. So, for example, if your daily habits is spending a certain amount of money on a daily basis on, frivolous things, then that could be a bad habit that's directly impacting your financial freedom. Even though it's a small amount a day, that could accumulate to more a month.
You mean like getting a coffee at Starbucks?
Coffee, just say a few different other things that, just say a meal at Starbucks and,
Yeah, a meal at Starbucks. But some people will say, well, just get another job so you can afford it.
But then that takes away from your time.
Sure.
And then your time.
So then you have to say, do I want to do that other job, or would I prefer delayed gratification?
Exactly, yeah.
And then use compound effect to increase my wealth later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. The choice is yours.
The choice is yours. Well, thank you, Ben.
Well, thank you, Big Al.
Actually, there was one thing before we
right.
go.
Oh, yeah.
How important or how much importance do you put on your why regarding your goals?
Well, your why is your motivation.
Yeah.
So if you've got a very weak why, then you probably won't. You won't work through to hit your long-term goals. Yeah. So your why is very important. If you can break a long-term goal into lots of mini goals and keep hitting the mini goals, then that's more motivation because you've achieved small little chunks of things. Yeah. And then you know it's possible. And you can do it without having a huge why. But otherwise, your why is your motivation. So you're more likely to achieve your goals if you have a massive why. And your massive why is not to look after your family, which I hear so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's to do with you.
Yeah.
Always to do with you. It's you.
Yeah. But most of the time, the better...
In a non-narcissistic way.
Yeah, no, but
before our listeners go, oh, you're just teaching us to be an art. No, come on, guys.
But most of the time, you being in a better position allows you to help your family and other people around you. So
yes,
therefore,
we're taught this in life saving.
Yeah.
Have you done life saving?
No.
Of course. Okay. So at school, I don't know why at school, but we were taught life saving skills if people are drowning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You mean that type of...
Yeah.
Sure.
So you have to save yourself in order to save the people drowning. Yeah. And we taught the same thing with the oxygen masks in planes. Give yourself oxygen first so you can give other people oxygen, because if you're dead, you can't give oxygen to other people.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Same thing here.
Yeah, 100%.
Same here with finances.
Yeah.
Save yourself first. Get out of debt first. And you will have a lot more money to help other people get out of debt.
100%. Well, Ben, it's been a pleasure.
Wow. Al?
Again, another episode. It's been interesting, these episodes, and there's more to come. I look forward to it.